Hi there, it's Chris Hamilton here with a sales tip a day, www.salestipaday.com. I'm glad you could join to watch this broadcast of how to stop cold calling and generate sales leads. And just as a bit of an agenda today, this is going to take maybe upwards of about 40 minutes to get through all this information. I typically will do webinars like this every Friday or usually every other Friday. And if you want, you can go to my page on my website, see what kind of upcoming webinars I have. And that's at salestipaday.com/webinars. And so we're going to start off with why doesn't cold calling work anymore? And I think the main thing is if you are in sales and you're trying to cold call people, it's frustrating. And while I was preparing this presentation, I went through and started doing some research, and I found something on LinkedIn. It was really actually quite a good article. The article was 7 Ways Salespeople Drive Revenue with Social Selling. And they have a stat in there, and it came from IBM, that there's only a 3% success rate by doing cold calls, and that's decreasing at 7% a year. So it's getting it's getting smaller as the years go by. Found another one from Baylor University, and they did a case study called "Has Cold Calling Gone Cold?", where they used a bunch of Keller Williams real estate offices and gave them a bunch of numbers to call to find out what the results might be. So what they did was, at 6,264 phone calls go out, only 28% of them, or 1,754, were answered. 55% were not answered, which is not shocking at all. In fact, the fact that 28% of them were answered is kind of shocking, and 17% were non-working. Now, here's the crazy part: is that these agents were only able to book 19 appointments, or when you look at that, it's 0.3% on the total, or 1% on all answered calls. That's crazy. Just such a low number. And one of the things that I look at is, there's only a portion of the population that really wants what you have at any given time. And as an example, I tell people it's kind of like winning the lottery. First of all, you got to find the 3 in 100 who need what you want. Then you got to start talking to them and convince them to buy what you have, and get them into a sell cycle. And they're probably going out to 3+ suppliers or vendors on a product or service purchase as well. So, one other way to look at it is flip it around and just take a look that you're wasting between 97 and 99% of your time cold calling. It's a crazy process that just does not work. So I just want people to know, like, I have been in your shoes. I've been in sales for quite a few years. In fact, when I started out 20+ years ago, one of the only ways the internet was just something that was out there. It really was not anything that was usable to the extent that it is today. And I had to actually pick up the phone and cold call people. So one of the things I found is you pick up the phone and you start calling. It's that fear of rejection. It just freaks you out. If you're sitting in an office with a lot of people around you, you have that fear of basically looking like an idiot or looking stupid, being rejected. There is a fear of loss, obviously. I'm not going to gain. I got nothing going on here. One of the ones that really bothered me was when I aggravated people when I picked up the phone. It is really tough as well. And the last thing is, I look at it, it's grinding on you. There's a lack of confidence. You're kind of questioning, am I doing the right thing? Does it make sense? And it really is. It's extremely tough. So I'm going to show you a way to get sales leads and get prospects who want to look at what you have. They're in buy mode. They're looking for exactly what your product or service is. And if you're first in the door, or get in front of these people, you have a good chance of driving the sale and controlling it. So first of all, one of the things I want you to take a look at or think about while you're doing this is that this process I'm about to lay out is pretty much it's an online process. And so 60% of people go online to find out about a product or service. 83% need help during this process. And 71% of the people that do this they expect immediate assistance somehow from a website if they're going to um, if they're going to look for a product or service. And last but not least is that if you're not there to help them, 48% of them leave your site without ever coming back again. So they just basically they will not come back. Now the other stat that I didn't throw in here that I've found is that between 70 and 80% of people that come to your website leave without ever coming back again anyways. So, that's huge numbers, and that's just you're letting sales leads walk away from your website every day or your company's website. So how do you leverage this to your favor? So there's a 5-step process that I've implemented at different companies, and it helps them out. The first thing you need is, and I'm going to go into greater detail obviously at each of these, is you need a website or a landing page, and I'll get into that a bit here. You need some form of email marketing software and an offer. You're going to need a live chat widget that you can put on your website to engage with people. You're going to need now this one's optional actually, but you should use or leverage some form of advertising to start drawing people into your website for your offer. And then last but not least is social media. And there's a 6th step, which is follow-up, but this is one of those things that you should be doing anyways. As soon as you get a lead coming in the door, sales leads are golden, and you should be following up with them. So step 1, getting a website or a landing page. So I'm going to assume either you have a website or you have access to a company website, and if you don't, doesn't matter, you can set up your own. It's pretty darn easy, and I'll show you how in a sec here. This is, for me, it's one of my landing pages that I have that I created with a company called Lead Pages. And so, long story short, is it's a page that I put together that allows me to capture names and emails and also engage with people with live chat. And there's a couple different ways that I collect names off this. Obviously, you see, yes, I want to try live chat free for 30 days. You click that, and it'll bring you through to capture a name and contact information, so on and so forth. And then on the right-hand side, I've got this live chat widget that if someone's got questions, they can be asking questions off that page there. So, I mean, this is if you don't even have a website or you don't have access to your company's website, Lead Pages is a great way to set up a landing page or a page that allows people to give you their contact information for what you have. And what's great about it is you don't even have to have like I say, a website. You don't have to have any hosting. You don't have to have any of the infrastructure. They take care of it all for you, and they'll host all this stuff for you. So, if you need a website, like I say, one of the first ones you can look at is Lead Pages. Lead Pages is a phenomenal landing page software. I go to leadpages.net to see it, and you can understand. They'll give you more information on how it works and what it does. But a landing page, the sole purpose of a landing page is to do one thing and one thing only: capture contact information for people. The next one that I'd look at is called Unbounce, and Unbounce works like Lead Pages in the same way that you don't actually have to have a website or anything like that. They'll host all the information. It allows you to capture names and emails, and it works very well too. I've used both Lead Pages, Unbounce to capture people's information. And last but not least is if you really want to set up a website, and if you go to my website, salestipaday.com, I have a lot of blog posts on there which draws a lot of traffic in and allows me to capture people's names and emails to continue to market to them and put them into a sales process. Go to WordPress. WordPress has hosted go to GoDaddy. They have hosted WordPress sites, and you can get a website up and going relatively quickly. If you need help on any of this, reach out to me, Chris Hamilton, or it's Chris at salestipaday.com, and I can point in the right direction. So that's step 1. That's kind of building the foundation. Next one is you need an email marketing software and an offer. And the reason why you need this is because you're going to try to offer something to somebody that is going to entice them to give your name and email address or their contact information. So you need to give them something up. So setting up an email marketing system, and I'll talk about those in a sec, a couple of them. is relatively easy. I mean, basically, you purchase it and you walk through a process of setting it up. So, you know, the services that are out there are phenomenal. They'll give you help setting it up or tell you how to do certain things and get it going. It's not all that tough. Now, the one thing you have to do though is once you get an email marketing system like Aweber or MailChimp, you have to create a capture form and you have to create something of value to give away so that someone will give you their contact information. You can't just put something up on your website that says sign up for my newsletter. It just doesn't work. For example, what I give away value is I have a 25 must-have sales and marketing tips, and this little ebook has gotten me thousands of email subscribers. And it took me about an hour to put together. I pulled different posts from my website and just put it together so it was quick. It's like a 6-page or 5-page little ebook that I put together. One of the other things you can do is put on webinars like I'm doing today. You could put on you can leverage systems to do a webinar. Join.me is one of my favorite ones. So, I mean, just if you give something to evaluate, people will give you their names and emails. So the other thing too is if you want to get a steady stream of sales leads, this is one of the best ways to do it too. So let's say you have 1,000 visitors to your website each month, and that 3% of them sign up for your offer, your little ebook, your course, your this, your that, whatever you're giving away. And let's say you're sending an email out on a consistent basis. Let's say, in this case, I'm going to say let's go, monthly here, and that your product uptake on the people that against your whole list is 6%. Literally what you see is within 18 months, you have 540 people subscribe to your email. Now I'm assuming no one's going to unsubscribe, so you get 540 people. But if you got a 6% uptake against that, you've got 32 potential inquiries or sales leads or sales coming in the door. So this is an excellent way to generate revenue for yourself, for your company, for everything. I mean, it's you're just giving away sales leads if you don't do something like this. So some of the resources that I look at, I use Aweber and I use MailChimp. Both are great services. Both have their uniqueness about them, but I would just investigate each one. So there you go on that one. So there's, first step is get a website, get a landing page. Second one is get the email marketing software, get something to give away. Now you're getting people to come to your website, and what you want to do is you want to actually engage with them. So live chat software, like what you see on the right-hand side here, is highly, it's highly valuable because it allows you to engage with people. And in fact, the guy down by the yellow car, there's a buddy of mine, John Leishman. He and I actually created this live chat software that you see on his webpage here because we couldn't find something that would do what we wanted it to do. And I'll get to that in a couple of seconds here, but I mean, it works really well. So I'm going to go back to these stats again that I talked about at the front of the page, or the front of the presentation here. So 60% of people go online to find out about product or services. 83% of them need help during their investigation online. So they're looking for stuff, they're trying to educate themselves, they have questions. 71% expect immediate assistance online, and last but not least, 48% will leave if you do not help them. So how do you use this to your advantage? You actually engage with them and ask them questions with live chat. That will drive people giving you or asking or finding out about what it is they're trying to find out about. And it is a great way to have that first interaction with people to generate sales leads for them. So my live chat software that I've created, and I've got an offer at the very end here that I'll let you try it for 30 days for free, is one of the things that we did was we found that if you automate the invites where it pops up and asks you questions 3 times and have them at different intervals, so say like within 15 seconds, say a minute or 3 minutes or whatever it is, the longer that someone's on your website, that third pop-up, second pop-up and third pop-up draws in way more people than the first one. So we did it to be more proactive and generate more sales leads for people. And it dramatically increases the results, as I said. So it's a great little piece of software that you can leverage. Now, the other thing that I have is I've got a bunch of people that can act as operators for you. So if you're not around, they can actually engage with your with your website traffic on your behalf and drive sales leads for you. So one of the things I always tell people to do is take a test, take a look around. So go to, some of your direct competitors' websites and see if they have live chat on their websites. If they don't, you've got a tremendous opportunity to stay ahead of them, to engage with people who are looking for what you have to offer. Now, if they do, I would jump on it ASAP because they're doing something that you're not doing, which is driving the sales leads for their business. So there's the first 3 steps. Next one is advertising. As I say, this is optional. I don't go into a lot of detail here, but one of the biggest things that you want to do is, once you get a website up or get a landing page up, you've got all the infrastructure in place, you've built your house, so to say, you want to make it welcoming for people to come in. So you need to create some form of ads to drive people in. Here's 3 different online ad sources that you can look at. You can look at Facebook, LinkedIn, Google, AdWords. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on these, but this is just some of the online ways to drive people to your website to engage with them. Give it a try. There's lots of others that you do. There's offline, which you can even do print advertising if you want. That's one of the ways that you can actually increase your potential of generating sales leads through any print advertising you do too. And just as an example, let's say you're looking at AdWords, you want to see how you can reduce your AdWords costs. Is the term Calgary furnace repair, where I live, Calgary, is $18 a click for each click when you're using Google AdWords. And let's say you have a conversion rate of 3%, which means you're spending $594 just to generate one sales lead for your company. Now, if you could put in live chat, typically live chat will convert your website traffic at up to 10 times the rate of a normal just someone coming to your website without live chat. So if I take it in the middle there 5 times, then if you're doing it at 5 times, then you're generating leads at about $120 per lead as opposed to the $594. So it's a way more effective way to spend your advertising dollars and generate more revenue for your company as well. So last step is social media, and I actually like using social media, one, because it's free, it's a little bit of sweat equity on your time, but there's ways to automate the process and get your word out to draw people into your website. And just to give you an example is when I do the How to Stop Cold Calling webinars, I use different means like Twitter to drive people through, but I use an automation service called Social Oomph, which allows me to tweet out at different times during the day to draw people in and everything like that. So, what you can see up here is up at the top is I've got a couple of tweets that I use to draw people into my How to Stop Cold Calling page, and then what people do is they click on the link down here to claim their spot to get into the webinar. So this is kind of like what I'm talking about. The only thing I'm missing on this page is live chat. Now, unfortunately, it would block too much if I threw live chat on this page, but this is really like the process I'm talking about today is generate stuff with social media. I have people push through on advertising on this, get them to a landing page, get them to sign up. I give something of value away. I capture their name and email. I mean, everything's represented right here on this one screenshot as well. So, last but not least, do some follow-up. And if someone comes in the door, make sure you follow up with them because, in most cases, not everyone's ready to buy. You got to nurture them along that sales process and keep engaged with them so that you can generate a sales out of that. So, one of my suggestions, as I was saying before, is do monthly emails out to people, do webinars, give away ebooks. That just entices people and you can engage with them on a consistent basis as well. So I'm going to show you a use case example here. So I got my buddy John Leishman from Geeks on the Way here. He's got the live chat sitting up on his website. I'm going to show you how that's actually helped them out. Is when they put that on, they were using Google AdWords to drive traffic, and they found that it was getting way too costly compared to what their revenue was. So they put live chat on their website, and what they saw was about a 12 to 15% uptake in sales, or increase in sales just by doing that. And the nice thing was they were engaging with someone that was highly qualified, so their revenue was actually higher because people were ready to buy at that point in time. So they ended up seeing about a 15% to 20% additional revenue coming in on a monthly basis. In this case, when you look at it, they were generating 40 leads for every 341 connections that they had talked to. And when you look at the results that were earlier on, where it's literally about 1%, this is about 40 times more effective than cold calling. And just leveraging a live chat widget on your website. Now, the other thing too about putting a live chat widget on a website is, you don't have that fear of picking up the phone and talking to someone and being freaked out that they're gonna yell at you and get mad at you. That's one of the hardest things that you have to do. So this is a great way to generate more sales leads than cold calling. Now, John had the added benefit. He's got staff that had the ability to look after this, so there's no additional cost for us. So this extra 15 to 20% additional revenue, that's just straight revenue coming in the door for him. So it's a tremendous uplift for him. There's another use case. I'm not going to even tell you who this guy is, but he's a roofer in Ottawa that uses it, and he had a 66% uptake. So basically, for every 3 chats that he did on his website, he was generating 2 sales leads. And in this case, it was insane. It was about 220 times the average. Now that I don't want to paint this, it's like rosy out there and everything like that, because not everyone has these kind of results too. We've had people that it just doesn't work for when they're leveraging live chat. So, as I just said, it doesn't work for everyone. Not all leads are qualified. So there's a caveat that we do when I use a process like this, driving people in and stuff like that. Some people just come in and they're tire kickers and they could waste your time. You got to weed them out and stuff. So I'm not going to say that this is the silver bullet or the magic bullet or whatever it is that is going to generate nothing but sales leads for you, left, right, and center. There are some bad ones that come in the door. So just like anything, you just got to weed these things out. So I'm going to go through the process here. So here's what I do. So if you take a look on the left-hand side here, I've got Facebook ads, I've got a LinkedIn ad in the middle, and I've got a tweet that goes out that drives people to my page here. And then what happens is when I get them there, I have a strong headline. I've got a video that sits there that if people really want to watch it, they can click it and play it. And then I've got the ability to capture their name and email when they say yes, I want to try this for free. And then on the right hand side, I've got this live chat box that allows me to engage with people. So I've got this is kind of this whole process working here. It's that lead generation system that works for you. So there's my call to action right there, and it gets people onto my email list, and that's how I engage with them. So I tell people, when you're doing stuff like this too, and you implement a process, you have to experiment. As an example, my Facebook ads that I was running for this webinar were costing me 26 cents a click. My LinkedIn ads, they were costing me $2 a click. I'm generating enough traffic through Twitter and off my website now that I've actually backed off doing the ads right now. So that's kind of a nice thing too, is once you start generating the traffic, it starts coming towards you. So you don't have to necessarily do advertising all the time, but I chose to back it off. I'll probably turn it back up again in the near future. But experiment. Just see what you can do with Facebook ads, what you do with LinkedIn ads, different ways to generate or get people to your website, whether it's through Facebook or through LinkedIn or through Twitter or anything like that. So now I'm going to go into an offer here. So one of the things that I do is I create this whole process and I can get it going for people. But one of the things you take a look at is, you're driving people to your website. You got an email, you got social media, you got pay-per-click, which is AdWords and LinkedIn ads and Facebook ads, or you've got organic search results that push people in towards your website. The unfortunate part is when you do stuff like that, people are coming, but you have no idea who they are. So you haven't identified any of these people. And it's tough. That's the same thing. You're missing out on potential opportunities from people. So, you have zero visibility in there. You have no insight. You're flying blind, and you have no follow-up plan that allows you to, reach out to these people. We have a process, or I have a process that I put into place that allows me to, once the emails come in, the social media, and the pay-per-click, and the organic that you had before, I'm able to identify a certain portion of those visitors that are now coming to your website, which allows you to reach out to them. And where we were saying before, you had all these difficulties. Um, After the fact is, you're starting to see who these people are that are coming to your website. So you start to identify the actual companies or people that are coming to your website, and you get to see what they're doing. So as you get to see what they're doing or what they're poking around on your website, what they're looking at, you get to understand, how they're engaged with the content that you have, and understand what they're looking for. Um, we also have the ability to send notices to you and say, hey, this person's on your website, they're looking at this sort of stuff, which allows you to have a follow-up plan with these people. So, you know, the one thing I look at is literally every company out there, it's not every, but there's a ton of companies out there that put up these websites. And, the unfortunate thing is you just pray for the best that it's going to happen, that people are going to contact you. There's an easier way to identify these people that are coming to your website and have a follow-up plan with them and generate way more sales leads. So, for example, before you have zero visibility, you don't know who they are. If you can identify 30% of your website traffic and what they're doing, and you have 1,000 visitors, that's 300 potential sales leads walking in the door every single month. And some of them are not going to be valid. So let's just say even 2/3 of those aren't valid. 100 of them are sales leads. So what you need to look at is, you get 100 additional sales leads, whereas you've had none before. And when I say sales leads, it's like we've identified this person, we've identified this company, this is what they're looking for. It gives me the ability to follow up with them. And so I have a plan where what I do is we create blog posts or information that goes out. We have social media submissions that allow us to track where your results are coming from on social media. We provide email marketing and also website visitor insight to see who's coming. We throw up live chat, and we also monitor and report against this. I have different levels where we'll put a monthly post out, bi-weekly, or weekly posts for you. And if you want to find out more about that, just reach out to me, Chris at salestipaday.com, and I will give you a little bit more information on this, a little more in-depth detail. But this is what I've done is I take what I do literally every day, and I've thrown it into a process here that you can leverage to generate sales leads for your business. So once again, reach out to me. You can contact me, Chris at salestipaday.com. And I appreciate you spending time here today to take in this presentation. And like I said, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always there to help people. And best of luck in sales to you as well. So there you go.